Alright, got another 9mm ballistics gel test for you guys today. What we got here is Federal Premium Personal Defense Hydra Shok Deep 135 grain. I had a few requests for these, so here they are, and we'll be testing them today. So, as stated, 135 grain. I guess that's what they're supposed to look like after they expand. You can see one through the window there. Let's see. That's what they're advertising there. Trying to see if there was a velocity or anything like that. Probably looking in the wrong spot. Well, on the punch I just did, it was on the back, but here it's not. So I'll look up and see what the advertised velocity is for this. Post that here for you guys now. We got the chronograph set up so we can get some reads anyways. This is my Taurus G2, so forget the barrel length on that, but I'll post it up here as well. So we'll be using 10% Nox ballistics gelatin today. Ignore this. This was from the previous test, which was actually the one preceding this one. So if you want to check that out, just scroll back there a little bit. So we got mostly clear block here. This was the catch block for these, and I just had to pull these out here. So we got a pretty good block here to capture these unaffected, really, and then this will be the catch block. So I think that's going to work for us. It's BB calibrated 3.4 inches. Many of you know this has to be temperature controlled, which it is. Always transport it in the cooler there if it's above freezing on some ice packs there. So my t-shirt and denim there is a little muddy, so you have to forgive me for that, but they generally fall off after I hit it. So we will do a single layer t-shirt test, and then also the infamous 4-layer denim. So these are about 11-12 inch blocks, so hopefully 22 to 24 inches of gelatin there is going to be enough to stop these things, because I know they're advertised as deep. Of course, if we do not get expansion through the denim, then I am expecting a pass-through. So that piece of t-shirt on the ground was completely soaked, so I just went ahead and put a fresh piece on there. The denim's not too bad, but I don't have an option about the denim because it's the only piece I have with me today. Alright, so both of those a little low on the velocity there in the 900 range. I mean, it will be a little slower because it's a 135 grain bullet, but obviously you can still get heavier bullets. 147, pretty common loading, and those usually come in the 900s. But this is a compact with a shorter barrel, so, but that's our velocity reads on those. And what's interesting over here, for being advertised as deep, not so deep. No, what's interesting also is I just rounded up the Federal Punch test, which is what those were. Definitely check that out. And you know what, I'll just go ahead and link that in the description while I'm at it. But we just wrapped that up. And I also use these now crappy looking clear blocks by Clear Ballistics. And we had further penetration in the clear block, even though we had about the same expansion in both. Now typically, through the clear block, we get further penetration because generally the hollow points don't expand as much in the clear. However, today with the punch in the earlier test I did, with the same expansion, we still got further penetration in the clear block, which is not typical. So I'm wondering, I was not going to include it, but I'm going to do that now. I'm wondering if these will penetrate further if they expand the same still. If they do not expand the same, then I know they're going to penetrate further because there's less resistance. But if they do expand the same amount in the clear block, I'm curious to see if these will also today penetrate further in the clear than they are in my Nox. But as I stated, we are within calibration. To be in calibration for 10% ballistics gelatin, you're supposed to have a BB penetration at 590 feet per second, give or take 10 to 15 feet per second either way, for variances between 2.95 and 3.75 inches, and we're coming in at 3.4. So this is calibrated correctly. As I stated also, it's been in the cooler, and after the test I just used them in immediately afterwards. I put them back in their containers here, threw them back in the cooler, get them back on ice and get them cooled down, back down from being out here for a couple minutes. But it's only 45 degrees today, so it's pretty cool out. These are still freaking ice cold. So it's not that they're too cold or too hot. I just had them in there with some ice packs. They're not even sitting on ice. It's just basically just enough ice packs in there to maintain the temperature. So yeah, we're in calibration and doing everything correctly, and these didn't penetrate that far. So I wasn't going to, but let's throw some of these up here, even though they look like crap. And I guess I'll explain that in a minute. And we'll redo this through those and see what kind of results we get. So as you can see, these aren't so clear like when they were new. They advertised these as getting 10 or 15 uses out of it, which, I mean, for personal use, yeah, because they are still transparent. You can see some wound channels there. They just don't look great anymore. And if I'm to compete with the other YouTubers out there, and they're using crystal clear blocks, then so do I. So theoretically, then I only get 2 or 3 uses out of these before they start to look like crap and they're no longer photogenic. So that's why I'm excluding them from here on out unless I can get Clear Ballistics to sponsor me, which I'm trying. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get these set up here, repeat the test, and see what our results are. And just real quick, before we do that, and before I forget, here's the measurement on these. So this first one here through the t-shirt, it's coming in about 13 3/4, at least from the angle I'm standing. It doesn't always correlate to the angle that I'm recording. And then right at about 15 there for the one that went through the denim. And of course, we'll pull these out at the end and examine and weigh them. And for that matter, we should be inspecting these wound cavities here as well. So there's that. I'm sorry it's a little cloudy. I'm on the 4th or 5th remelt. When these are more fresh, they're pretty freaking clear, but you can still see it there. And I'll hold it up to the sun here in a second. So there's the t-shirt from the side there. And then through the denim, there's that one. There's your entry holes. Can't see too much from the top. Get back behind the sun here a little bit, and there you go. And also, before I get any further and we pull these out and can't see this, I just want to point out that both of these turned around backwards. I thought maybe it was just a fluke with that one, so I figured, oh, we'll find out on the second shot. And indeed, this one also spun around and is facing backwards as well, even though it fully expanded. So that's good. This one has some partial expansion there. But both of them did flip around backwards. So real quick, here's going to be the old clear block setup. So this is already here. So I'm going to intend to come in higher, about the same level. Try to do one on this side and one on this side, but I just want you to know that that one's already there from previous. Alright, so those two, it looked like we did a little better on velocity, coming in right around 1,000 there. I know the first one did touch 1,000 feet per second. So there's the first shot through the t-shirt, and these are 16-inch blocks, so that's going to be about 17 or 18 inches. Unfortunately, the second one, I came in right here, but it decided to curve out the edge on me, and we lost it right there. I'll go ahead and take one more, try to get a capture through the denim, but obviously it's going to be further penetration. But let's go ahead and do that anyways real quick. Alright, so came in a little high on that one, but we did still get a complete capture. And also, if you guys are noticing, this is something that I've always explained in all the videos where I use both. Vastly different wound channels through the clear. They're much, much, much smaller, even when the bullet expands the same. So then that one there through the denim, sitting right there next to the other one. But we do have full expansion, so that's really good. So then our penetration on those guys coming in about 17 3/4 there and 18 1/4, and that's not counting this bounce back there, which is going to give you about another 1/2 inch or so. So yeah, in the clear, we're getting further expansion, which is, generally speaking, the opposite effect we get. So Like I said, I don't know why today, and both tests that I've done today with the punch and now this Hydra Shok deep, why I'm getting further penetration in the clear, because that's usually not the case. As I discussed, my Nox is calibrated, so I couldn't tell you. I really don't have an answer for you there. But there's our results. Alright, so this one back here is through the t-shirt. Textbook. This one here, clearly through the denim, with it having the denim stuck in it there. Get a measurement and a weight retention real quick. Alright, so the one that went through the t-shirt in the clear block here, 0.4930. Retained weight is, keep trying not to drop these things, 135.7. And then through the denim in this clear block here, 0.4740. I did pick that big chunk of denim out, but there's still a little bit under these petals here. Retained weight, 136 even. Alright, then in the Nox here, so this is the one that went through the t-shirt. This is the one that went through the denim. So surprisingly, this one is just kind of all mangled and didn't really open right. And I say surprisingly because typically the 4 layers of denim is what makes it difficult for a round to open up and expand. And we only had that happen with the t-shirt here today. So maybe this one was just a fluke or something, I'm not sure. But regardless, there's our results. So let's see here. Retained weight on this one through the t-shirt here, 136.7. 137. 37. There's a little bit of breeze, so it's messing with that right now. This thing is extremely accurate because this is actually a reloader's scale, so it's meant to measure very fine powders and very fine increments of gunpowder. So anytime there's any breeze at all, it'll flicker back and forth like that. In the house, it doesn't move at all, but I was experimenting with it just to verify that, and sometimes it does that too after it's been messed with. Just blowing on it very lightly, you will get a read from it. So 100%, just the smallest breeze out here affects this thing. So when you see it going up and down, that is why. And so due to those petals hanging out there like that, because they didn't fold back, we have a diameter of 0.6575. So then on the one through the denim, we're coming in at 0.5080. I picked out as much gelatin as I could from that, but you can probably see there's still some trapped under those petals there. Forgot to turn those back on. Retained weight, with that being said, is 138. And there's a close-up for you guys. So the left two there, this one's the denim, this one's the t-shirt through the clear block. It's supposed to be clear. And then this is through the Nox here that we just measured and weighed. One on the left obviously being the denim, one on the right the t-shirt. There's your results on that. If you guys want to get one of these scales for yourself, or the caliper, micrometer, the chrono, the shooting bag, anything I use in these videos, check out the links in the description. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you on the next one. If you want to see that federal punch test I mentioned, again, link in the description for that. But other than that, that's going to do it. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.